Hello, friends. It's the Cinemondo podcast with Kathy and Mark and me.
Yeah.
Hey.
And
Hi.
Hey. Hello. How are you?
So loud.
Hi.
Hi.
You know what I like? You know what I really, really like? And,
I know what you like.
And there are so few of them. Really good scary movies about ghosts, like haunted house type thing.
Yes.
About a haunting. There's a movie called The Haunting, and there's also The Legend of Hell House, and there's a bunch of really great ghost movies.
Yeah.
But I mean there aren't a bunch of great ghost movies. There are a handful of
a lot of ghost movies.
There's a lot of ghost movies.
A lot of them, but there's only a handful of good ones.
Yeah, think of some of your favorite ones. What are some of your favorite ghost movies?
Well, The Others is a great one.
The Others. Ghost Story is pretty good.
I like the series Ghosts. The British story Ghosts was really good. It's not scary necessarily, but it was really good.
That was a sweet
one.
The
Changeling with George C. Scott. That's a really good one. There's quite a few. I mean, The Haunting of Julia and Don't Look Now and things like that.
Was Don't Look Now a ghost?
It had elements.
I mean, good question. It kind of turns out to sort of. I mean, spoiler, but it kind of turns out to like not be, but you think it is throughout the whole movie.
Like Mike Flanagan did The Great Haunting of Hill House. It was such a great series.
Yeah.
He did a great job of they would just kind of be in the background. It was just sort of they were just present.
Amazing.
And I love that because you can watch it a few times and see ghosts you didn't notice before.
Yeah.
It was so creepy. It's so well done. I love that. It was the best one of all, I think.
I like The Haunting, the Haunting. That and The Innocents. The Innocents is a really great one.
Yeah, that's a great.
Casper, based on the turn of the screw. Yeah, Casper. That's another really good one.
Casper,
the live action one.
The live action one. Oh yeah, that was really good.
Starring probably Charles Grodin. Probably.
Yeah, probably had him in it. Yeah.
It was probably in it. And I actually there was a new movie called Oddity, like a cool new indie movie.
I loved Oddity.
Very strange sort of ghost-like thing. It was very, very cool. You weren't quite sure what was going on. It was really nice.
That's one of my faves from last year.
There's some cool Japanese horror films too, Japanese ghost story movies and Chinese
Conjuring, which I love. I love that series.
Yeah.
If you've watched any of our 500 videos regarding Conjuring, you know what Kathy feels about that movie.
I'm amazed how many
absolutely loves it.
That I hate The Conjuring. I'm like, people are like, wait, that was the best movie ever. I'm like, why do people like that movie?
It's for people that don't know ghosts. Maybe I don't know. I only saw it barely once, so I can't even comment on it. Really
but then again, you know what? There is a phenomenon out there that I don't know if you guys have heard of, but it's like this weird phenomenon that I've noticed with myself that sometimes people don't like movies that I really like. Mm-hmm. Have you ever noticed that? It's
yes.
Weird. But I really like The Haunting, and I've told people, watch The Haunting because that movie just kills me every time I see it. I love it so much.
It was boring.
And people are like, now I wish I had that 2 hours back, And I'll tell people to watch The Legend of Hell House, and they're like, that was dumb,
Who are you?
Who are these terrible people Who are these assholes?
They're not my friends anymore.
There's also Sixth Sense is a great one.
The Sixth Sense is a really good one.
There's some great ones.
That's a great. Sixth
Sense and this
is one of my absolute favorites in that genre.
It's a classic. Epic. So this one is done by a director I highly admire, Steven Soderbergh. He does a lot of different kinds of films, sort of some mainstream stuff, some low budget kind of things. Like he does interesting things. Sometimes he'll I think one movie shot with an iPhone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forget.
I love that.
Unsane or something.
Yeah.
And this one is called Presence. It's directed by him and stars Lucy Liu. Okay. And I think it's very much a contained thriller. And you'll see from the trailer, I think what he's trying to do with this film as far as the director.
I love Steven Soderbergh's. He always experiments with the medium. He takes filmmaking. He's an excellent filmmaker. He doesn't have to do anything quirky or gimmicky, but a lot of times he'll do something that I think with another director might be called a gimmick. But in fact, with him, what he's doing is he's experimenting with the medium. He's trying to use the box of paints, the colors in a different way. And I think, you know, the language of film. He understands how profound that can be, and
right.
what can happen if you change. I mean, I'm sure he is a fan of other filmmakers who do similar things, where they play with the language of film, the code of film, as some people call it, and I love that he does that. I like seeing a really good filmmaker do that, because sometimes people will do that, but they may not have the other skills necessary to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
But he could make a traditional film of any of the films he's ever made, and it would still be a good film. But he also experiments with the medium, which I really appreciate.
And he's kind of all over the place. He does all kind of genres, all kind of like big budget, small budget. Like he does it all. And I think he does pure range, and he just brings an intelligence to them. So I'm always interested.
He'll do like drama and science fiction, and he's good at all of it.
Comedy, like he did that, those Channing Tatum, what are they called? Mighty Mike or something? Those films. Magic Mike, yeah. Right. And then
those were serious depictions of the struggles of male strippers.
Oy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at
hard life
to my earlier career. Yeah, I mean, it's it's not easy. Yeah,
it's not easy. It's like back when you guys were doing it. Couldn't you relate to Magic Mike?
Magic Mike, the Mark and Burk story, 1987.
Oh yeah.
That was actually based on your life, I think.
G to 3,
Oh
okay.
My!
All right. Well, check it out. Okay.
Those days, the good old days.
I know. All right, so we have a trailer for this. Presence. It's a
Get serious, people.
Yeah, this is. I don't know if this is serious or not. But supposedly it's a ghost story, a presence, something about a presence. And
there might be a ghost.
Yeah.
Knock himself unconscious. What we do for this podcast.
I know. All right, here we go. Are you ready?
Right.
And quiet. All right.
Michelle?
You have a presence here. It's trying to figure you out. It's trying to connect to you.
Oh.
She just stopped breathing. Dead in their own bed. Can you imagine the parents?
Heavy words.
Yeah.
It's suffering. Just like you are.
Nice.
Quiet.
Beautiful.
Yeah, those little review snips in there are like, wow, this sounds pretty profound.
Sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
And it's also written by David Koepp, who did Stir of Echoes.
Yes.
Another ghost story.
Richard Matheson wrote that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and Panic Room and a bunch of films. He did couple of the Jurassic Park films. Anyway, a big time writer also.
Yeah.
And I know this is because the conceit here is that the point of view of the camera is the ghost.
Right.
That's the story.
So that's why the perspectives always felt a little like wide angle, like a sort of ghost vision, Yeah. It's like, oh, I like too, like there's a lot of observation, like a ghost they're mostly, I think people kind of imagine a ghost just sort of lurking around and they're just watching us. I love the idea of it. That's kind of watching, but then it starts getting angry. And I like that it starts getting more aggressive and feeling like you're feeling it through the camera movement and kind of the sound and just shaking and people are kind of running. I love that idea that you get tired of waiting and you don't like what people are saying or whatever it is, or you want to be involved and I love that idea that you get to feel an emotion as a ghost. That's really cool.
Right. I think if that's what he's going for, that's really interesting, because how is the ghost tied to this family in this house?
Yeah.
What is the story?
What's the story? Exactly. Yeah.
Like, was it in the house before? Is it someone they know? Did they murder someone? Like, what is it?
That's the interesting part of it. Like, because a gimmick can only, if after 5 minutes, if you don't have a story, it's just a gimmick, 90 minutes of a camera going around. But if there's something going on and there's a relationship
something
with
that
the
you
ghost
care about
and the characters, and that then it becomes really interesting and a kind of a puzzle maybe to solve. And I'm hoping that's what it is. I mean, the reviews are pretty astounding there, but I always take those with a grain of salt. But still, it's Soderbergh, so you tend to think it's probably on point.
It kind of reminds me of Hereditary, where it's probably almost more about the family drama and what's happening there, and you as the observer. Like, it really, you say Hereditary, it is what it was. Like, we won't say what's Hereditary. Everyone needs to see that movie, basically. But I love how the basic conceit was the dysfunction of a family, and that was so profoundly intense and terrible, and then that just
mental illness,
what was happening all around. Yes, and mental illness and everything else. Like, it's so good. And I feel like if that's sort of part of it, where the ghost is the observer, seeing this family kind of fall apart, that would be great.
Well, when you think about movies about hauntings, a haunting is a haunting. If you say someone is haunted, that could mean that they're being pursued or followed by a ghost.
Yeah.
Or it could mean that they're haunted by guilt or something like that. And I think movies like Don't Look Now and The Haunting of Julia. I love the movie The Haunting of Julia. It's not super widely known movie, but when you think of the title of that film, The Haunting of Julia, Julia in the film is haunted by the fact that her daughter choked to death and she wasn't able to save her daughter. And in Don't Look Now, they're haunted by the fact that their daughter drowned and they weren't unable to save her. It was like, you weren't like, oh, where is she? And it's like, you weren't watching her and this happened, and that can be a haunting. And I think sometimes in a family, people are haunted, and you kind of realize that people would, how difficult it would be to live with the guilt of having caused or feeling that you caused somebody's death or something like that. And imagine how that would haunt you, and how you might feel like that person was judging you from some other realm. You know what I mean? And that idea, I think, may play a part in this, or has certainly played a part in some of my favorite stories.
I hope he takes, like you said, a haunted movie and sort of flips it over, saying it's not like, oh, there's this thing that might be in the closet. No, we're the audience, we're the ghosts, and we're trying to figure out what's going on in this family. What is happening here, and why? And why am I in this house with you? That's kind of intriguing. It's a different thing, which is always interesting.
Right. And also the mechanics of ghosts and the idea of how does it work? Those are always fun to me. I love the like Kathy mentioned, The Sixth Sense. That's such a classic movie, and I love the idea. I mean, spoilers for a 500-year-old movie.
Don't give away the ending of The Sixth Sense.
But without giving the ending away, the idea that a ghost can be a ghost and not know that it's a ghost. And I love that idea that can happen, and that they try to kind of go on with their life with these things that meant something to them when they were alive, and then gradually you sort of you have this period of time where you do that, and then gradually you kind of you lose touch with the things that meant something to your physical body. I love those kind of interpretations of what might happen after we die. And Richard Matheson, who wrote Stir of Echoes, wrote some really great ghost type stories too. And I mean, basically look up his name, and anything it says that he wrote or had anything to do with, it is excellent, and you should watch it or read it.
That's right.
And Legend of Hell House, for instance. But those stories, to me, the ghost stories that kind of take a new, like some vampire stories do it too, where they'll sort of reinvent or reboot some aspect of a vampire.
Yeah.
And I love it when people do that with ghost stories and the afterlife and things like what happens when we die, that huge question that everybody has.
That's right. Let's take a look at the posters. Maybe we'll have clues. So we have this kind of a teaser poster.
That's nice.
That's really pretty. I like the shadow, sort of something there. That's sort of creepy. It's all just this is basically like a prestige cell where they just Soderbergh and the writers.
Very, very spiffy.
Yeah, and then this is a different version where I wanted to show it because they have the shadow kind of coming more close in focus. If you can, like, we have this one where you barely see it, and this one is pretty.
Oh, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
It's almost like we're seeing the ghost. Like, are we seeing a ghost? Like, it's kind of a cool idea. And they changed the palette too. It's almost like we have the warm daytime and there's a shadow in the corner, but it's not anything. And then it goes to like a cool palette.
Yeah.
We're seeing it more. And then we have this one, which is kind of bringing us into it's a Dolby cell, of course.
Oh, okay. Got the Dolby
also,
poster.
Yeah. But they're kind of in a way we're seeing the family drama. Like they're selling this as the family drama, but it feels very eerie. Like what's happening to this girl in the middle? It looks really disturbing.
Yeah.
Everyone's just looking at her. And then we have this one. This is the full on scary looking one.
Kind of Amityville horror vibe.
Yeah, but simple, nice. Like they don't overdo it. Like it's all just kind of like in a way. It's like, is this what Ghost Vision looks like? See everything turned inside out. Is that what it is? And then we have like the review cell. We have it's the prestige cell. So very simple, beautiful, elegant stuff. Did you want to go back?
And it's also interesting about the family shots. They look like a family that's very uncomfortable with themselves.
Yeah, nobody seems super thrilled.
There's a sense of just like, they're sort of apart as they are.
But is it because of the person, the one of them that's missing? Is there a family member? Like, I mean, it looks like a dad and the kids. Is the mom the missing family member, or is that the mom?
Well, there's Lucy. That's mom and dad.
Okay.
Lucy Liu, and I guess that's the husband and probably 2 children. I'm guessing.
That's these 2. And then them, but someone's very upset. Someone died. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Did they lose someone? Is there somebody missing from the picture?
When does it come out? Dying to see it.
It just came out, believe it or not, yesterday. It just opened.
Okay.
January.
We need to go see it.
Yeah, it's out somewhere. So that looks like a one to check out. It seems like that sort of probably takes place all in and around that house. That's my guess. I'm sure it's one of the contained, quiet movie, kind of cool.
And Soderbergh knows how to make a movie. He knows how to make and tell a story, and he knows like some of those reviews were saying it groundbreaking, kind of changes the whole the game, and it's like that's what I long for with movies about ghosts. It's like I want to see that movie that puts me back into the feeling of a movie like The Sixth Sense or The Others or something that really just yanked the rug out from under me at a certain point, or put me in that disorienting place where I came out of the theater feeling like, oh my God, that was great.
Yeah. It's a rarity.
Where are those movies? I want those movies.
I know. Give me something new and fresh. I mean, I'm amazed this hasn't been done before. It kind of reminds me a little bit of seeing like the Nature of Violence. Is it Nature of Violence? Violence of Nature? I can never remember the name of that. I get very dyslexic about that movie. But I love how they were showing that from the serial killer point of view. Like a lot of these ideas of kind of turning these genres on their head a little bit by switching the point of view, because it's scary as a person. There's ghosts in the house, but what's it like for the ghost? I mean, that's a cool idea.
And you do know that, I guess, I mean, that comes across in the trailer that we're seeing a point of view kind of a thing. Because there's one point where there's a character that kind of goes, like feels something. Yeah.
Very, very cool. So very interesting and looking forward to it.
Yeah,
it looks pretty cool.
Presents. It's already out now, so we're going to go check it out and review it. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.